Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 49 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I am getting ready to build something pretty large. It's going to be one of the largest builds that I've done this season so far. I have decided it's time to get away from the Ender Quarry. So the Ender Quarry is working alright for us. We're not doing too terribly with it. However, the problem is that I did finally figure out what's up with the speed upgrade. So what happens is every time the Ender Quarry mines a block, it costs a certain amount of energy determined by the hardness of the block. So like obsidian costs more energy to mine than cobblestone and dirt, for example, right? So the way this works is the speed upgrade doesn't double the energy use of the Ender Quarry itself, it doubles the energy use of each block mining operation. So when we added that speed upgrade here, it's saying, all right, we're going to drain twice as much power per block mined. Now the problem is we're mining blocks a lot faster, like a real lot faster, as we saw earlier. So what happens is we're actually wind up using a ton more RF to clear through the terrain. So there's a couple options here. We could drastically increase our power production, which is of course a valid option. It works, so it can be done. Or we could have fun building a giant multi-block frame mining structure. And I decided to go with option B. Multi-block frame mining structure. So there's a lot of different ways you can build some cool mining stuff. Ooh, more of this is good to have. There's many options, right? You guys have seen me make mining well systems before. However, I'm going to harken back to days of past and come up with a newer design for a kind of a mining head drill type system. So it's going to be a large build. It's going to require a lot of different moving parts, and there's going to be quite a few things involved in it. Let's get started taking a look at what frames are like, what they do, and how we can use them to have a lot of fun with what we want to do here. And I've got multiple parts of this build that I've hopefully got for the most part ready. Let's take a look. So the mod we're going to be using the most is called Funky Locomotion. Now there's very few components to Funky Locomotion. There are frame blocks, and then there's the frame pusher, puller, and slider. So to demonstrate how frames work, the first thing I'm going to need to make is a frame pusher. We're going to need some enderium nuggets. We're going to need a machine frame, and we're going to need some diamonds, and we're going to need some in-bar ingots. That shouldn't be too bad. Let's get ourselves at least... we'll go with 2 enderium nuggets. That'll take a minute to craft up. And while that's going, I'll make myself a machine frame. Did I ever teach this system how to make machine frames? I guess I didn't. So your basic machine frame is made like this. And we're going to also need a tin gear, which I think we can get without. There we go. So we might as well encode this guy, make one, and then encode this guy, and throw them into the molecular assembler thingy. So now I can get a basic machine frame whenever I want. Sweet. Cool. Is my enderium done yet? It is. Hooray. So we're going to grab ourselves some enderium nuggets, and I can go ahead and make myself a frame pusher. So this guy's pretty easy to make, as you can tell. He just requires a bit of power, and you're going to also want some frames. Optionally, but I'm going to go ahead and craft them. You can see that it's pretty easy to make. You're just going to need some in-bar and some in-bar nuggets, and I've already taught the AE system how to make it for me because you're going to need a lot of frames for the build that we're about to do. Let's go outside real quick and take a look at a basic operation of frames and what you can do with them, and then we'll wind up getting more in-depth into this build because I want you guys to understand the basics before we jump into a super complex frame build, okay? So here goes nothing. Place down your frame pusher like so. And if you want to reorient your frame pusher, you can shift click on it and it'll basically face away from where you're looking. Shift click again and it'll face toward you. So if you want it to look, that way, you shift click on that side and there you go. Okay. You can also just regular right click if you want, whichever. Now, frame pushers do exactly as they sound. They push frames. And before I get into this so much, I need to take care of some creepers who decided to hang out near my plans. One of these days, hopefully soon, I will prevent creepers from spawning nearby my base, but that's for another episode. See you later, Enderman. Endermen always like to show up when I start working on frames. Don't ask me why, but it's kind of something I've noticed a lot. So frame blocks are cool. You place them down in front of the frame pusher. Frame pushers will push frames and move them around, and frames will grab onto any other block in the world, including other frames, including tile entities, and move them along with them. So what's cool about this is we can go ahead and drop some items into this chest here. We only need to give this frame pusher two things. Some power, which I'm going to supply via the tesseract, and I'm just going to set this guy to ignore redstone for now. You'll notice the frame pusher has a small internal buffer of about 256k, and then you apply a redstone signal to the frame pusher, and boom, magically the whole frame system moves, and the iron chest moves along with it, and everything pretty much behaves perfectly. And there's a little bit more complicated mechanics you can do with frames. Don't worry, we'll definitely be checking them out soon, but that's the basic gist, right? So we're going to build a cool machine that we're going to move around the world and allow it to mine for us. Now there's a bunch of different ways that we can mine, especially if we have a machine that can move blocks for us. We have things like the terrain smasher and the block breaker and all kinds of other cool stuff that can break blocks in front of them, and if you move those around with the frames, you can use it to mine for you. However, I decided I want to go with something super high-tech and fancy like the annihilation planes from Applied Energistics. So we're going to build a miniature Applied Energistics system, and when I say miniature, that's a complete lie. It's going to probably be even bigger than the current one we have, but it's going to be almost entirely populated with annihilation planes. They will be moved around the world, and they'll harvest for us. So that's the basic plan, and we are going to have a lot of fun building this, or at least, you know, I will, and you guys will hopefully have a lot of fun watching me build it. That's the plan. So let's get started. I'm going to want another frame pusher, at least, and a couple other things, but we will start with some basics, okay? So let's get, you know what, I am going to get another frame pusher. So let's get some machine blocks here. I'm going to want 2 more of these things. So start that up. 1, 2, and done. There. Now we've got a couple frame pushers. That should be good. And we're definitely going to want more frames. So let's get like 60 of these guys. Have fun building that. And we might... No way, we just ran out of Invar, did we? Oh, yeah, we did. Okay. Well, it's auto-crafting Invar because I also taught the AE system how to craft Invar. So one of these guys should be crafting Invar. Yep, see? It's working on it. We're also going to want some annihilation planes, which, hey, guess what? I taught the A system how to make and made a stack of them ahead of time. These guys require 3 Fluix crystals each, so they're kind of expensive. That's why last episode I couldn't start this. I didn't have enough Certus quartz to make all the Fluix that I needed. So I did lots of mining and got all the Certus quartz I need. I even did some manual mining as well as letting the, Quarry run its thing. You might have noticed the Quarry is somewhat larger than it was before. And then I, waited and off-camera did the annihilation plane crafting. We're probably going to want more of these. We're also going to want some cables. These I did not craft off-camera, but I'm going to craft right now. Let's get like 60 of them just to get started. We're missing wool? Really? I've been harvesting wool like crazy. How do I not have any wool? I have some, but not enough. Alright, well, let me go harvest some wool and probably come back in a minute here. Alright guys, let's get to work getting the foundations of this thing set up. Now hopefully I've got everything I need on me to get at least the basic components of this build. I kind of think I do, but who knows, we'll find out if I derped and forgot something. And if I did, I'll just have to go back and get it, that's okay. No big deal. Let's find a place to build. Now I know I've kind of got my quarry thing set up here. You know what I should do actually? This is a good idea. Let's fly off in this direction. I'll build it like, yeah, maybe right around here-ish. This looks like a good spot, as any. So this is going to be the foundation of my frame quarry system. Let's take a look. So the first thing, obviously, we're going to need are some frame blocks. And we're just going to build a little bit of a platform here, and things are going to get expanded as we go along. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I want to do? I kind of wanted this to be all contained within one chunk. So let's do that. For now, at least. Obviously, it's going to move outside that chunk. Okay. Not terrible. So that's 16 blocks across, right? And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 15, 16 blocks across. So we're all within one chunk. Now the plan is that I want this thing to eventually, And it's going to be a while before we get to this point, but eventually be able to devour a chunk at a time. So this is going to have to grow rather large. Now, in order for this thing to work, we're going to need to hook up the following components. Let's see here. It might be helpful to do this in bat mode because I'm going to have to be flying around a little bit. So we're going to have, and I'm going to do this with smart cables to begin with. There we go. And actually I need this to be, because these things can only do 8 channels at a time, right? So, was that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this here will be your first set of cables. Cool. That looks good. Connected to this will be probably, we're going to want right here, some dense cable. And on top of the dense cable, I'm going to have a controller. So you're, for now, going to tap into the bottom of the controller. And then also on the controller here will be a tesseract, so that thing can be active. And this will probably eventually have to be a multi-block controller. And I might as well, for now, build this here. This is a temporary design, but it should at least get us moving. And what else are we going to need? We're going to want frame blocks on the tesseract and on the controller. And we'll probably also want, so we can see here, if you take a look at the channel distribution, we're using, you know, one set of cables here already. And I should probably have brought something else with me, but that's okay. We'll check that out in a minute. I want to place down, I've got, do I have normal cable with me, or did I bring all smart cable? Out the top here, we're just going to have 2 things. We're going to want a disk drive with some stuff in it. I brought 2 1K storage cells for now, and we're also going to want a terminal. Cool. And we'll make sure that actually this will come up back here. So we don't really need these. With me so far? Cool. Alright, so I should be able to put stuff in the system and take it out, no problem. And then whenever these annihilation planes run into a block, it'll automatically destroy them and place them inside the AE system. Now let's test to make sure I've placed all my frames correctly so that we've got some form of ability to move these things. So what I'm going to do is, just to make it easy and for demonstration purposes, I'm going to put the frame pusher there, and he's hooked up to the tesseract, so he should be getting power, and then I just have to apply a redstone signal. Alright, so I missed something on my frame coverings. It's probably this block. There we go. Nice, it moved. That's what I like to see. Alright. So, for demonstration purposes, once again, we're going to go ahead and move this down just a few times. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have to break and replace this thing every time we do this, but there we go. So you can see it's already starting to do the concept of digging, right? So something's in the way. Oh, this is in the way here. Eventually, this thing will be covered in all annihilation planes. Ta-da! Look at that. How cool, huh? So that's the plan, okay? And then eventually we'll want to do something to push it upwards. So we'll have, like, this guy with... I don't think it retains its energy storage when I break it and pick it up, right? The frame pusher? No. So I'm going to have to borrow the tesseract for a minute. And then push it upwards. Cool. Now, it did, you know, pick up these blocks here, but that's okay. We'll be able to not have to deal with that shortly. Nice. So that's cool. That's the basic gist of our design. Now, when we've gone ahead and, you know, collected all the stuff that we want to collect, all we should really have to do is pick up a disk drive like this and send it back home with us. So I'm going to bring that back, and I'm going to get a couple things that we're going to need to do for the next component of this build. So like I said, it's going to get complicated fast. Real quick, I want to build something from Applied Energistics. It is not the spatial stuff. I think it's an MEIO port. I think that's what I want. All right, so that's going to be complicated. Let me get this built real quick, and then we'll be back. So the I/O port is cool. We're going to have to find a spot to put this thing. For now, I'm just going to place it down here somewhere that I have an open channel, and we'll find a better spot for it later. Why not here? Even though this is, I know, meant to be my auto-crafting later, but I'll get to it. This is neat in that you can configure the MIO port so that anytime you place a cell in there, it's going to transfer data to the network. So if you watch, and let's see, this move to output when empty. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So watch, right now there's stuff in here, and when I place it there, boom, there's no more stuff in there. It got stored in the network. So that's what the I/O port's for. We're going to basically put everything on storage cells from the Quarry, and then just send the storage cells back, drop it in the I/O port, and it should empty the storage cell into our network, and then start processing ores and do whatever else that we collected from out there. Pretty cool? All right, so the next thing we need to get is going to require a little bit of crafting, so let me get it. All right, so the next thing I want to make is matter balls. These things are very cool and useful items, courtesy of Applied Energistics. In order to make them, you need the following stuff. You're going to need a matter condenser, and I'm not sure if it needs a channel, so we're going to find out in a minute here. I feel like it shouldn't need a channel, but yeah, see, it doesn't actually even need to be plugged into anything. It doesn't even connect to any cables. I don't know if it needs power or not either, but I guess we'll find out. If it doesn't connect to cables, I have to assume it doesn't need power. So let's pop this guy right up here. Into that we can place, if we put this in here, yeah, we can get our storage component out of the storage housing. And I believe a 1K will do. We're going to find out. So the matter condenser can do three things. It can destroy items, just like a trash can will. It can create matter balls, and in order for that to work, it needs to condense 256 items into one matter ball. Or it can create singularities, which needs 256,000 items to be condensed into a singularity. So as a matter of fact, because of the way I want to set this up, I'm not going to put this up here. I'm going to put it down in the basement, and for now, just for the purposes of temporariness until we get a little bit more of a better build going, I'm going to place cobblestone here. And I'm going to make a cobble gen. Water. And lava. Okay, with these three components put together and using extra utilities, simply place the extra utilities transfer node on the cobblestone, place a world interaction upgrade in there, and it's going to tell this thing to start generating cobblestone for us. In theory, which it doesn't seem to be doing just yet. Should be doing it though. Oh, this is a liquid transfer node. Well, there's your problem. It needs to be an item transfer node, and I grabbed a liquid one by mistake. So we'll put this away and get the item transfer node. There we go. Gonna need a chest. And we're gonna need some blocks of redstone. I almost had everything I needed this time. So we'll put that there. Now we place the world interaction upgrade in there, and you'll see that it rather quickly creates cobblestone. And if we want, we can speed it up a little bit. That speeds up the transferring of items. If we had another world interaction upgrade here, it would actually speed up the generation of cobblestone. So let's do that. Let's get another couple. I don't want like a ton, because we don't need that much. Good, I can get one at least. Let's do one more. You know what, two more. Just because, why not? So you'll notice now with 3 world interaction upgrades in here, it should speed it up a little bit more. Notice how much faster it's creating cobblestone for us. Perfect. I want that cobblestone to get dumped directly into a matter condenser. And we're going to put this guy into output mode for matter balls, and we're going to put a storage device in there. That's what's actually going to store the energy required to eventually create the matter ball. And once we've got 256 items worth of cobblestone or whatever other items you want going into that matter condenser, it should wind up creating one matter ball for us. So let's see what happens here in just a second. Dun dun dun. The suspense is killing me. There we go. The first matter ball. Sweet. You know what? I think I'm going to do even more matter. You need basically 4 stacks here, and that's just no fun. So I'm going to go ahead and get more world interaction upgrades, and this should significantly increase the speed at which we can do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure, why not more? There we go. So now we should be getting items much quicker, right? Nice. Looks like about 11 at a time. So it's basically like every time it generates cobblestone, it's 1 cobblestone per world interaction upgrade. Not shabby. And we'll, like I said, move stuff later. What I also want to do is an import bus. So we're going to need one of these. We're going to need one of these. Should teach the A system how to make one of these. There we go. And I should be able to pull, I don't know if it's out the top, but we're about to find out. If I put the import bus there and we place down, this is just normal smart cable, right? Can you pull matter balls out of there? I would hope so. Yeah, you can. Nice. So this will pull the matter balls out of the matter condenser into the A system. Done and done, at least for now. Cool. Come over here and check. Nice. So what are we going to use matter balls for? I'll show you. All right, so here's what I want to make, an energy cell, courtesy of AE2, and I'm going to use this thing to make myself the following gadget, this. So actually we need a core. We need one of the ones that we don't have apparently, so craft that for me. And we're going to make the color applicator. This is a very useful little gadget. And isn't my 4K thing done yet? Told you to craft a 4K storage cell. What's taking so long? Start. Go 4K storage cell, go. Should be quick actually to go because most of the stuff we're going to want should be available to us. I need one more pure Certus, really? Alright. So anyway, we're going to make the color applicator because we want to make paintballs, and I'll show you what those are all about. So how's our matter stuff doing right now? Oh good, we've got a decent amount so far. We're already up to 19. So paintballs are cool, and I'll show you what they're for in just a minute once we have our color applicator ready. Alright, so you're going to need an ME chest, and you're also going to need, like I said, the 4K thing, and we should now be good for a color applicator. Sweet. And as you can see, it's powered by RF, so real quickly it filled up with its little storage capacitor. In order to fill this color applicator, you're going to need the ME chest, and you're also going to want some paintballs. I'm going to go with white, because I have lots of bone meal. Yep. I have lots of bone meal. And I'm also going to go with blue. So let's make 2 sets of this, and then I'm going to replace you with lapis and 1. And we just need a few more matter balls to get the 16 that I'm going to need. I'm going to need more, but for now this will work. I might need more world interaction upgrades to speed this process up for me. But anyway, you place down your ME chest and give it some kind of power. It doesn't actually have to be hooked up to your network, but you do want it to be, you know, in a position of getting power from your network at least. So here should be fine. And when you right-click on the front of the ME chest, you can place the storage cell. You actually use the color applicator like a storage cell, and then you can interact with it on the top and place your paintballs in there. So there we go. I'm going to get one more paintball. Are my matter? Yes, sweet. I can get another set. Awesome. And I might place this somewhere more appropriate in a bit. But what you can do now is take your color applicator out of the front, and all of a sudden we have a color applicator. Right now it's set to white, and I think you can hold shift and mouse wheel to change the color. What's cool about this is you can use it to change the color of the cables in the world dynamically without having to craft the different colored cables for like dense cable and stuff, right? So what you do is real easy. And this is why I did this, by the way, obviously. So if we wanted to, we could color like color applicator blue right here. And notice that now it's colored all these things. Now it is going to use a paintball, and I don't know if there's any way to see what's currently in there. So aside from, you know, that. And now we can go through here and run some more smart cables like this. And you'll notice that if I color this one white, colored cables will connect to uncolored cables, so the Fluix cables can connect to everything, but if they're two different colors, they won't connect to each other. Sweet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 7 because I already had one there. And I'm going to make all of these white. Awesome. And I should probably bump this up a little bit, just so I can get under it a little bit better. The best way to do that is with the frame pusher, and a tesseract, and a lever. There we go. And we'll put the tesseract back on the AE system here just so it keeps that thing powered. So obviously these things didn't move because they didn't have frames attached to them anymore. That's okay. We're going to eventually have frames hooked up to everything. You'll notice that you do get your white and blue cables out when you pop them off there too, by the way, so keep that in mind as you're doing this. All right, more annihilation planes ready to go. And you'll notice now that we have all the annihilation planes kind of ready to behave. And we have no worries about anything really. So the channel system works. We've used looks like 8 and 16, right? So that's 16 of the 32 channels that we have available here. What I'm going to do next is then place more cables right here, but we're going to color these guys white. Cool. And I just need more smart cables to go like this, and I'm just going to run it across real quick and then paint them like that. So now we're not connecting again, and we can run another set, and this time will be blue. Nice. And of course another set of annihilation planes. So by alternating these two colors across the line here, we should be able to do this entire build with just two colors. Now we're probably using all 32 channels of our, dense cable here. Let's see. If we sneak up to a point where we can actually see that, if you peek through the frame there, you can see we're actually using all 32 channels, I believe. Right? So we're going to have to tap into another side of the controller in a minute when we want to do our next. So you can basically get 2 rows of this, right? So if we've got, 32 blocks, right, 16 across, 2 rows, that's the 32 channels that we have from one side. So if I want to do 14 more sets, right, that's 7 more sides to the block. So we are going to definitely need a multi-block controller for this eventually. By the way, you'll notice that I've used up all of my color applicator. It has no more items stored in it. So it's 1 paintball per 1 color application. So keep that in mind. You're probably going to need a lot of matter balls if you want to, do a lot of painting. So let's see, how are we for matter balls? While I was gone, I got 25 more. Not bad. Like I said, going to probably do some more world interaction upgrades. I'm going to set that up now. And then we'll be back in a minute to wrap up the episode with one more little component of this build. Alright guys, so I haven't tested this yet, but I want to find out if this will work. So first things first, make me some more blank patterns, would you? Cool, 1, and another one maybe, perhaps? Sweet, there we go. We're going to want some paintballs to be auto-crafted. So I'm going to do this. And while I'm at it, I'll replace the lappies here and do this. Cool. Then we're going to want an interface, which I made ahead of time, and that will do the following. You know what I'm going to want is a crafting upgrade card. There we go. So if I place in one of these interfaces, and it doesn't matter which one, I should have done this upstairs on my terminal so that I could find one that was empty, but that'll work. Paintballs go there, and I'm going to want probably to have the chest here, the interface here, a cable there, and we're going to want the paintballs. And let's tell this thing with the crafting card in it to keep 8 of each at all times. And it should auto-craft in order to do that, right? Next thing I want to make is a translocator. This is a nifty mod. It lets you do cool things. Specifically, the following. We're going to do this, and then I'm also going to want to take a diamond and break it into diamond nuggets. And I think that's all I need. So translocators is a great way to do short-range transfer, especially when you want to be specific about what you're transferring. So let's actually get 16 of these guys for now. And I'm going to place my paint thing. I haven't tested this, so I'm hoping I can translocate into an ME chest, but we're going to find out. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Notice that they're in the same block space there. And I'm also going to apply a diamond nugget to this guy by right-clicking on him. And then when I right-click on here, it's going to regulate the inventory of the ME chest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say keep 16 white paintballs and 16 blue paintballs in here at all times. And when I click on this, when I click on this, it should be able to transfer that. Maybe it can't. You don't have power, and that's the problem. Let's just get a power line here or something. Energy conduits tier 1 should do. I think that's what's this line, right? Yeah. So this won't be an attractive build by far, but it'll work, and that'll be good enough for me. There we go. Haha, look at that. So you should be regulating that, and you're not, so that's not cool. Why are you not regulating? Are you not able to see what's currently in there? See, I told you I hadn't tested this. Alright, so that's unfortunate. Alright, I'll have to come up with a better way to do this. Well guys, this is auto-crafting them for me, so that's nice at least. But unfortunately right now, even with Steve's Factory Manager, I was testing this, and no such luck. So we're going to have to figure out a better way to handle this. For now, I'm just going to tell you to go away and take back my ME interface. We'll figure out something later, but for now at least, we've got a way to fill this thing. And I'll tidy this up later at some point, probably. But now I've got a color applicator with 64 of each. I can do a little bit more work. Now, next episode, we're going to come back. We're going to work on the whole frame moving component of this build. And obviously, lots more work to be done to get this thing up and running. I want to try next episode to get it to a point where you can actually, you know, sort of use it at least a little bit. But I can't promise that I will be able to manage that in one more episode in time for the world download. So I haven't decided what I want to do about that. Maybe push the world download back to episode 51 when it'll be more ready, or give it to you at episode 50, and I don't know, I haven't figured it out. It's a little bit tricky, obviously, getting a world download going in right around the time when I'm in the middle of a build, so we'll come up with something, don't worry. For now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Obviously, some work to be done because we need to be able to move these things, and I'll show you some tricks with the funky locomotion that will make this all possible. Alright guys, take it easy.